Hey guys, it's Emily with Bold and Badass Fitness coming at you with a nutrition tip today. I happen to have the good fortune to overhear a conversation between two of my clients today, which I have to share because it was awesome. One of them was mentioning that they were planning to go get a box of donuts later, and she asked me if that could be considered batch cooking since it was a whole box of donuts. And I know, it's funny, right? I had to take a moment to think about this, and what I had to tell them was, honestly, I eat 2 or 3 pastries a week, usually. I usually have, a couple. My favorite thing to go get from the coffee shop near my old work is a cream cheese brioche. There's also a lot of great bakeries. There are a lot of really good bakeries in this area. So I have been known to have a few sweets on occasion. And the thing is, I never buy, like a donut or a bagel or anything like that while I'm just hanging out in a coffee shop. I specifically plan to have 2 or 3 of these a week as part of my nutritional program, and I know what days they're going to be on. I know what time of day I'm going to go get them, and because I know that they're coming, I know which ones I'm going to get. And I share this story. So anyways, I thought about their question of, like, could the donuts be considered batch cooking? And I was like, well, I guess donuts could be part of your batch cooking if you know that you're going to eat 12 or 13 donuts in a week. I'm not saying a person should eat 12 or 13 donuts. Maybe some people shouldn't even eat 2 or 3 if that's a food that's a problem for you. But what it really made me think about is how there are actually no bad foods, right? There's very little that is arguably bad for you all the time, except if you maybe have like an intolerance or some reason why you personally cannot handle it. But what I was really thinking about is, like, almost anything could be part of your plan, and as long as you know that you're going to have something, as long as it's intentional, your decision to eat it, it could actually be not that big a deal, which is why I feel comfortable sharing with you guys, and even knowing that my nutrition coach is watching this. Hi, Shay, I eat junk food. You already know that. Sometimes I eat junk food. So I feel comfortable sharing this with you guys, though, is I think that one strategy that can be really successful is that if you have a plan and you know ahead of time what you're going to go for, that plan can be used to your advantage. Now, here's the cool thing is, like, I look forward to that cream cheese brioche. I love the time when I get to have sweets, and I usually intend to have them either right before or right after a workout. And for me, I really like that kind of like carb cycling type method. That's not for everybody. It's certainly not necessary overall for most people, but for me, since I know I'd like to have those things and they fit into the macros that I try to hit, I try to have them before or after workout, so I have either a little extra energy before I go into a really hard day, or a good opportunity to refuel with some fast, simple carbs afterwards. And I will also say, these are not, like, though they may be like kind of junk food pastries, I'm not necessarily eating like a bag of Doritos that's full of chemicals. I'm still having something that was made nearby and is, contains flour, sugar, butter, like real food that I can pronounce. That's a whole separate issue, but in any case, that strategy for success just being, it's sort of like planning a cheat day. I don't always use the cheat day terminology, but just sort of knowing ahead of time what you're going to have and when. Not only does that make it easier to stick to your plan because you know that something good is coming up eventually, but it makes it just kind of feel a little less stressful overall, I think. This is one of those, like we were talking the other day about, getting up on time and eating like an adult, those kind of things. This is one of those choices where it's like, obviously, if many people, if just left to their druthers, would just eat, I'd probably eat 3 a day if I was never going to think about it. I think I'd feel terrible doing that, but I might just do whatever. But having the willpower and the practice of being like, hey, I know that I'm going to have this thing when I'm going to have it, and I'm not going to have it all the time. I think that can be really good for sort of training that as a skill where you're like, it's cool. I can pass on the birthday cake, I can pass on whatever because I know that my thing is coming. So I just want to leave you guys with that. I guess the thought that maybe donuts can be good for you. Maybe whatever it is you want to put in your program can be in it in moderation and with intention and planning. So that's your tip for the day. Go forth, plan your meals, put the good stuff in there, just sprinkle it a little bit throughout. I'm going to go teach class, and I'll see you guys soon on the flip side.